Good morning, and thank you so much for tuning into KBC Channel 1. This is News Check, a program that seeks to explore issues shaping the news in the country. And we are in that electoral season. And of course, the country is just about to go to the general election in the month of August, less than 60 days to go. And the countdown continues. And what we have been doing in this program is just to highlight some of the issues that are coming up on this whole journey of the elections. And today we want to talk about the inclusion of persons with disabilities in politics and generally in the electoral process, a very crucial part and a part of the society that for a very long time has been left behind when decisions are being made, such as now when the country is deciding who is going to be part and parcel of the next leadership. What has been done to ensure that they are part of that conversation, not just as participants, but also as people who are vying and also as people who have the power to elect somebody who will represent their interests, that is being voters. What have we done to make it easy for them to be voters? What have we done to make the playing field equal for them to participate as candidates? And what have we done to ensure that as many of them as possible get elected into office? We'll be talking about some of the bottlenecks, the barriers, the gains we have achieved as a country, and what persons with disabilities want different. And of course, they always say you cannot have a conversation about us without us. And they're here with me in studio this morning. I'll just let you in on who I'm hosting in studio. I'll start with the gentleman because this morning we seem to be dominating the ladies. So his name is Joseph Atela. He is the Executive Director of CDPOK. And of course, we have Khalima Sheriff, who is the woman representative candidate for Kajiado County. And we'll be letting you tell us a bit more about why you're vying and what your agenda for the people of Kajiado is. But thank you so much, Joseph and Halima, for creating time for us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you.
And you can also be part of this conversation. Just, come in and participate by engaging us on social media at KBC Channel 1. The hashtag you're using is NewsCheck. Any question you have for my panel this morning or anything you'd like to add as a person with disability or as a concerned party, what is it that you're concerned about when it comes to inclusion of persons with disabilities in politics in the country? What would you like highlighted? So that is what we're discussing this particular morning. And of course, in between the program, we'll be linking up with our reporters who are tracking different events for us in the country. But let's begin our conversation straight away. And I'd just like us to start by, just Joseph Atela telling us a bit about the consortium of persons with disabilities in Kenya. Just tell us a bit about what is it that is your mandate?
Okay. Thank you so much for hosting us, Serfine. The Consortium for Disabled Persons Organizations in Kenya, CDPOK, is an umbrella organization with currently 124 affiliate disabled persons organization members across the country. And this organization was formed by persons with disabilities, and its mandate is to amplify the voices of persons with disabilities across the country. And currently, we are running an inclusive elections program. And this is a program where we work with 15 major political parties across the country, where we are advocating for the inclusion of people with all kinds of disabilities within the political parties. And again, in the program, we are also working with the key partner or the key stakeholder in the program is the IBC. And we also partner with KNCHR, we partner with NCIC. So we are working towards inclusion. The process, election is a process. It shouldn't be an event. So we started working on this 2 years ago. And since we have elections this year, so it is this year that majority would say that we are so much on the limelight. But in real sense, we started working last year. And for information, we realized that political parties, there are those political parties that have been really willing to be guided by us so that they implement the inclusion, not only to feel or to be in good books with the ORPP. No, there are those who have goodwill, and for the first time in our country, we saw a big number of persons with disabilities going for the elective positions. When you remember the party primaries.
All right.
Yes.
And we have one who is sitting with us this morning, and we'll talk more about you and why you're vying. But in studio this morning, we are talking about another form of inclusion, and that is the inclusion of persons with disabilities in politics. There's been a lot of barriers that have made it impossible for them not to participate in the electoral process, not as voters, not just as candidates, but also as people who actually have the power to elect, others who will represent them. So we want to talk about how they can have a say on the decision-making table. And of course, in studio with me this morning, I'm having a panel of two, a lady and a gentleman. Joseph Atela, the Executive Director of the Consortium of Disabled Persons Organizations in Kenya, and Khalima Sheriff, who is a woman representative candidate in Kajiado County. And I was just about to come to you, Halima, to get to know more about the genesis of this journey, that you have embarked on. Just to tell us more about who Halima is, and of course, what is your interest for the residents of Kajiado?
Thank you so much. I'm very humbled to be here today, this morning. It is a very big privilege for me to talk to the entire country about inclusion and persons with disability in politics, because we've been in this journey in political parties and also in leadership in general. As a woman and persons with disability who is contesting, who is a candidate in Kajiado, I am.
What motivated you to want to go for this seat?
Yes, what motivated me is, in fact, the constitutional right first, because as a person with disability, I have that right, and it is giving me a mandate as a person with disability, Article 54 and Article 19, and also Article 24 as a minority and ethnic. So I was in politics ever since, and backing people to go and work for us in the National Assembly and also in County Assembly, because we've been working as a campaign team from governors, women representatives, and also MCAs and Member of Parliament. But sometimes I feel as a person with disability, we miss that chance because of being set aside as persons with disability. We have the nomination slot, so we can't go for elective seat and address our issues at the county assemblies and national assemblies. So the thing which motivated me, because I've been working with the organizations at the grassroots, partnering with my chairperson, the executive director, Joseph Atela, addressing issues of persons with disability. So when it comes to at a national level, sometimes it is very hard for us to address our issues because we have very few people who are nominated at the National Assembly, County Assembly, so we don't have that strength to go and address the issues. So for me, as a person with disability and having that constitutional right, I was motivated, and I said, no, this time round, I have to go and seek for that elective seat, not nominated, so that I can go and address all the issues and many more as persons with disability, to have that strength, because when you are elected, you have more strength than being nominated, because sometimes when you are nominated, you just become very weak because you are few, and also you can't talk much because you become under your party leader, under your...
So it doesn't give you that much of an authority to influence change?
To influence change and to address the issues, because sometimes you are few, and also as a first of all, I'm humble to remind people I am an independent candidate who is seeking for the women representative Kajiado County. So if you address the issue, like my brother Mheshimiwa Isaac Mwaura, he has been very vocal in this country on our issues, but also because he was on that party nomination list.
Okay.
It happened whatever happened to him, because you don't have that freedom of addressing the issues as persons with disability, and also as a member of parliament.
Halima, I'll come back to you.
Thank you.
So that you tell me how it's going. You being an independent candidate.
Yes.
And of course, you know, getting into elective position also.
Yes.
What are the lessons? What are some of the challenges that you have observed so far?
Of course, there are a lot. And the lessons are
a lot.
Yeah, very.
Okay. Just to add on what she was bringing out, you know, the nomination and compared to the elective positions, maybe there is something that also you can add on to that, because for a very long time it was a start, it was a step to create the nomination slots and give the positions to those that were considered vulnerable and marginalized in the society, persons with disabilities included in that category. Do you feel like that was a raw deal also?
Serfine, I would say that nomination of persons with disabilities to represent their colleagues wasn't a raw deal. Yeah, when we go to the Bill of Rights, we realize that there is affirmative action, and through affirmative action, the idea is or was to ensure that one is empowered, and then they go they go look for those positions, you know.
Yeah.
So we've realized a number of times, our representative Senator Mwaura and even Honorable Sankok and Denita and Senator Gertrude, a number of times their hands are tied at their back. They are so willing to table bills that would positively impact the lives of people with disabilities, but since they don't have that strong voice, when you are nominated, you are not entitled to a number of things, or a number of things that would bring advantage to you, and even their colleagues do mock them, you know, do ask them, the people they represent, they are not elected. So this one of the reasons that for the last 2 years we've been calling on political parties and even persons with disabilities. If you are not willing to work with a political party, you are allowed to go as an independent candidate. And that's why my sister, Honorable Halima here, is going as an independent candidate. And for example, if we can prove, we've proved that people with disabilities are able to deliver. The few that have been elected, if we go to Westlands, you know, we find Honorable Tim Wanyonyi is more than able. He has delivered. And in fact, we were very hopeful that he would go for the gubernatorial position. And you know, so many things happened, but again, he's going to defend this Westland seat. So as we really encourage people with disabilities to go and seek for these electoral positions.
I want you to talk to me about what you have observed, because yes, we're talking about elective positions for persons with disabilities, and both of you agree that it would be more impactful and effective in addressing the interest of persons with disabilities in the country. What has been the barriers and the bottlenecks that have blocked persons with disabilities to go for these elective positions?
First, it's a bit, I normally say that disability is related to poverty. A number of times you find that people with disabilities, they are not stable financially. And in African politics, if not Kenyan only, resources are needed. So a number of us are so willing, but we really need some resources in order for one to run a political campaign, you know? And without this, people might be willing to support you, but again, you need to appreciate some, you know? Yeah, so first is finance. Second, the playground is not normally friendly, you know? When you look at the rallies held by the political party leadership, when you go to, when you look at them, you find that accessibility is a challenge, you know. My sister works with a crutch. She is more stable than I, you know. I have calipers. With her, she doesn't use calipers. So to her, she'll still strain to access the podium.
To climb up high.
To climb up. And to me...
And to stand for those long hours.
Yes.
Of course.
And to me, to somebody like me, it's like impossible.
Impossible.
If I don't have people to carry me to the podium, I can't access it completely. You know?
I'll come back to you because I see Halima has something to add
on it. We are very, very somehow neglected, because whenever they have their rallies, the podium, they make the podium, they don't remember their people with disability, leave alone being a candidate as them. Even their supporters who are PWDs, they're coming to support them, but they don't have that ramp for us. So it is very unfortunate, because accessing it is like a hell for us, and they don't even care, because you just come, you see, even sometimes you want to come to the podium, you see like they're telling you, panda tu.
Yeah, you
panda tu.
Pambana na hali, what others
yes.
say.
And there was a day I was almost to slip off of the stairs, because it is made hand in a bow, alafu not very stiff, unaona. So it is like, oh my God. So I'm not even remembered in this meeting. So it is like a hell to us, you know. Leave alone being a candidate, even a supporter who is following them as a team, campaign team, of which in Kajiado they don't have.
All right.
They don't have one of us.
You've been part and parcel of, for a long time you've been in politics.
Yes.
But in the, in the, let's say the kitchen, being part of the campaign and helping in the campaign process before you decided to vie. Had you tried at one point or in many occasions to bring some of these issues on the table? Always.
But it is very unfortunate, even when we had a consensus for Jubilee. First and foremost, I was a Jubilee aspirant when we were doing the consensus, because Jubilee didn't go for nomination, so they decided to do it the other way. They did it as a consensus. So we were told by the candidate, the governor, the Jubilee governor, who is a candidate as like me, we were told to come with 2 elders, each and every aspirant. That time we were aspirants, so each and every aspirant to come with 2 candidates, two elders. So me as a person with disability, I decided to come with 2 elders. When we had the panel, the consensus panel, we were told everybody to get in with the elders, the candidate, the aspirants, and the two elders to get in, and we were told sasa hapa tuko consensus, tukimaliza hii consensus I hope kila mtu atakuwa satisfied na vile hawa panel watasema na mtaamua kuunga chama mkono. So me I was just observing, then I raised my hand. Kuna mtu akona swali, I raised my hand. Yes, mimi niko na swali. Mheshimiwa Governor, naona uko na panel, ndio sijakataa, lakini panel yako haijakuwa friendly kwangu kwa sababu mimi sina mwakilishi wangu wa ulemavu hapo. Na mimi kama ni minority na Muslim, nimeona umeleta mtu wa kanisa religion, religious, kuna apostle, kuna pastor, kuna bishop. Sijaona umeleta Muslim elder hapa kwa hii panel yako.
All right. Allow me to cut you short. I'll come back to you so that you tell me what was their response and whether you were satisfied with that. And of course, we are also talking about something in studio this morning concerning the inclusion of persons with disabilities in politics as we head to the 2022 general election. Many of them have come out to express their interest to vie for different elective positions, and others are part and parcel of those who have been registered as voters. But what has been done to ensure that those who want to vie secure a win when it comes to the August polls, and also what has been done to ensure that those who will be voting have access and can be able to vote in a very conducive and comfortable environment. We are talking about those technicalities and what needs to change to ensure that persons with disabilities are part and parcel of this process with my panelists this morning. And Halima, earlier before we took the link, you were telling me about an incident you went through in this whole process of you vying, and this was before you became an independent candidate.
Yes.
I just want us to pick up from there so that you can tell us a bit about the concern you raised and how they responded to it, and the verdict at the end of the day. What was it like for you as a candidate who is a person with disability?
Yeah, thank you so much. After I raised the concern about inclusivity, the response wasn't fair to me, because I was asked, mbona wewe hukuleta representative wako? Then I was like, I came with my two elder. The panel wasn't supposed to be me bringing in my representative. You are the persons to bring the representative at the panel, yeah? So it was like it was like an offensive, because, and I stood up and I said, if I have offended you people, I'm sorry, but it is my constitutional right to ask, but I hope it will be free and fair for me, because I'm sensing something.
Why was it important for you to, or why is it important, generally speaking, to have persons with disabilities represented in forums such as those when political parties are making such crucial decisions? What will it change in the process?
You know, for me to have the change is, you know, nothing for us without us. If we have that panel, we have our representative, and our representative will address our issues, because you know, I am the shoe wearer. I feel the pinch. Yeah? So you as a person's enabled person, you cannot address my issues as much as Atela addressing my issues.
You are the one who knows where the shoe pinches.
Yeah. because he knows much about our issues and our challenges than you yourself.
All right.
Yeah.
And that led, one thing led to the other, and today you're here as an independent candidate for the Kajiado Woman Representative seat, and we'll continue dissecting more about that journey. And I just want us to talk about the inclusion of persons with disabilities in political parties. This is one of the programs that you have been running. And just to link up with what I asked her earlier, because that is where it starts. Before even one is given that ticket, that ticket of nomination, and they're told you're the one who is going to be flying our flag as a candidate for whichever position.
Right.
We rarely see persons with disabilities get that much coveted certificate. Where is the problem? Let's go back to where the decisions are made, where discussions about power are held. Where are the gaps? Where are the loopholes? Is it that we don't have persons with disabilities who can sit in these boards, in these committees?
We have.
Serfine, these are very sensitive questions.
Yeah.
And basically, this is what has killed our representation. But before I go, I answer that question. First, we were trying to, you asked on the challenges, and I didn't complete my submission in regards to that. And I would add that one of the challenges added on top is there is this notion when a person with disability goes to contest, you find that fellow contestants do insist to them that they should not contest because they have nomination slots.
Yeah.
And I want to remind the nation, both aspirants and the political parties, that the nomination slots are very few. There are only 4 at National Assembly and the Senate, and there is only 2 per county.
Counties.
So all of us cannot fit the slots. And that has been a barrier as well. And also the issue of what would I say? When it comes to when it comes to the playground, as I was saying earlier, it isn't so friendly, and again, there is no that goodwill. We'd say that even giving a chance to persons with disabilities, you will hear these leaders call the women league leaders, the youth league leaders, and you will not even see representative or league disability league leaders given opportunity to talk.
Always a forgotten slot.
So these one of the issues that really affect our representation and our participation in the political process. And finally, on that, and if you have been so keen, when you see the crowd that is in a political gathering, you would hardly see a person with crutches somewhere in the crowd. And this is because this crowd is not so friendly security-wise. You find there is a lot of push and pull.
It's uncontrolled.
It's uncontrolled. Yeah. So those are things that we know the crowd we cannot control so much. But when it comes to DIA's representation, if their leaders are there, leaders of persons with disabilities, if they're there, they should be given a chance, at least to say something.
All right. So now that you've talked about the representation even at the political parties, and you've cited the Women League, the Youth League, and also the need to have a strong and vibrant Persons with Disability League. Let's talk about that, the political parties. To what extent have they hindered the emergence of leaders who are persons with disabilities, and also people who hold effective positions such as elective posts? How have political parties played a role in preventing that from happening?
I would say that in the past election, in 2017, going downwards, the inclusion was not embraced. And there was no even disability leagues in the political parties. But when we felt shortchanged, in fact, we were shortchanged in the representation in the county government assemblies. So I'm one of the leaders that petitioned against the representation, you know. And what we realized is that things don't work by just making noise or something about it. We came on the drawing board and we asked ourselves, now, we don't want to have this experience again from 2022 onwards, you know. So we engaged political parties and 15 major ones that were willing to work with us in the Kenya Inclusive Political Parties program, you know. And we engaged them. And I want to tell you that all these political parties formed disability leagues by, in a span of 8 months, they had formed their disability leagues. And there are 2 that have included their disability league policies in their constitution. The
political party constitution.
In the political party constitution.
2 parties.
You know?
But it came with a lot of backroom conversations and convincing,
you know?
Yeah. And I just want to understand, what was the vision of this? What is it that you wanted this disability leagues to do within political parties? What is it that you were targeting that they would achieve?
You know, when they are part of the decision makers, they'll speak their minds, and they'll also speak whatever the people they represent say on the ground. You know, so for the parties that have embraced that, we really appreciate them, that included us in the constitution, the disability leagues in the constitution. We really appreciate that. And even one of those political parties have even included us in their manifesto, you know. So that's a milestone. But again, we are urging persons with disabilities not to go sit and relax. You know, the journey is still long. We really need to ensure that we engage those who have political parties, those who are members of political parties. We really ensure that they are, they are on the decision-making table, you know. Yeah.
And you know, we'll talk more about that, but Halima, as somebody who is now on this journey as a candidate, I know now you're an independent candidate, and that was informed by something. But if situation was ideal, and you existed within a political party, as a candidate who is a person with disability, what would you have expected from your political party to boost your chances of securing a win in the seat that you're going for?
Okay. If I happen to be the candidate of the political party,
what would you have expected?
I would have expected them to give me an upper hand, to have more persons with disabilities in their campaign team, more persons with disability in their decision-making table, because my interest, it is for the entire county as their representative, women representative, but also the persons with disability visibility, because coming from a pastoral county where they don't embrace persons with disability, for pastoralists, persons with disabilities like more of a curse than a human being like any other person. So I would expect for my party to give us that broader chance, for us to be known and to be active in politics, because me being there, I could have been their voice and representing them, to have them more on board, because we have so many campaign teams for governor, women representative, MCA, member of parliament, but for them to have their PWDs represented in the committee, it is you know, like and
they are not present.
Yeah, and if they have them present, they don't have you know, active people on Nini. Just to make it, you see, utaona, they have one person, but this person is not even on the move with them. Before I decided to be a candidate, to vie, we were the one to insist them to have meetings with us to seek votes, because they don't even come, and the way they call women chamas and women groups to have one-on-one word and asking them,
and business community,
please give me your votes, support me, what, asking their challenges. If you elect me as your leader, I will give you this. What do you think? If you elect me as a leader, what do you wish me to do to work for you? How, you know, for PWDs, we've been pushing all along. Since ever 2013, the devolution, we've been pushing. We are the ones looking for them, not them looking for us. See,
it is the voters looking for those who want to be
elected. Yes, especially us, PWD groups. And I appreciate my director here, because even on the nomination slot, 2013 and 2017, he has been very vibrant and very helpful to us, because 2017 he was the first person to go and petition. He called us, get our names, he petitioned for us, but it was so unfortunately because the case was thrown away. So the 17 counties which didn't have the nominated slot of persons with disability up to date, still vacant, of which it was our right as persons with disability to have our representative in all the counties. So,
if I may add something on that, Serfine, there is a fact that really we can't hide, is that persons with ability, I mean, are so many in Kenya, you know. If by 2010, the then consensus, it was the result of that consensus, we were 6.5 onwards, you know. So we are a number that can have our own county, you know. We can have our own governor, and we can have our own senator and MPs.
Even a president.
You know, even our president.
Because 6.5 from 209,
you know,
we can elect our own president.
That's a big number. So
cannot be ignored.
Yes, that's a number that you should not ignore. One should not ignore such a number. So that's one of the reasons we are advising or do engage political parties or the leadership of the country that persons with disabilities need to be on the decision-making table. Yes.
And in terms of, you know, capacity building, because you're saying that you've been running a program for inclusive elections in Kenya for, is it 2 years now?
Yeah.
What are you doing on the front of, you know, empowering those who are vying, who are persons with disabilities, to be ready to face it off with the others who may not necessarily be persons with disabilities? Are you running programs also to just prepare them, to equip them, to tell them what to expect so that they have a competitive advantage? Because we all have to agree, politics is a competitive environment. And yes, we're talking about some of the things that are being done that are barriers for persons with disabilities, but at the end of the day, you still have to be assertive and you still have to fight for their spaces. What are you doing also in terms of preparing those who are vying?
Thank you for that question. Now, in this program, first, we ensured that we do a program where we brought the political leaders on board, and this include the secretary generals and the executive directors of the political parties. And we brought also disability leadership, like organizations for persons with disabilities, and we had a conversation. And then onwards, we've been also informing with the help of various consultants and people who've got wide skills in governance, and we've been doing capacity building programs, and also even an exchange program. There is a a month that we did an exchange program with a group in Uganda and also a group in Nigeria. So it was virtual though. So this really informed our constituents that they should not only rely on the tokens, you know. And the thing that we realized is that there is a difference in the way that they run their disability representation, like in Uganda. With them, they have a system where they elect their own representatives, like the famous American Electoral College system. You know, and in Kenya, it's unfortunate we don't work with that one. And in Nigeria, it's almost the same. So you realize that these people have a way of engaging, and their representatives must be very accountable to them, you know, because...
so they directly elect whoever they want to represent their interests.
Yes. If Atela wants to be the Senate representative of people with disabilities, he has to campaign, he has to convince these people with disabilities that I am the one, you know, I will deliver. So when he is given that position, he has to deliver. Unlike in our case, and it's so unfortunate that in our case, we have to abide by the guidance or the demands of the political party leaders. You know, they appoint you, you can't do against their wish. They must direct you on what to do. And that has really brought us down. And in that program as well, we have tried, in fact, it has been very, what would I say, a way of we exchange. It's not a program where you just train and you let people go. No, you come up with the ideas. The participants who are candidates, who are persons with disabilities, they bring like, what if we do this? What if we do this? You know, and that's why the political parties bought the idea of inclusion. You know, and again, that's why these people with disabilities went to contest. In fact, they offered themselves for leadership, and I want to tell you that a number won their party primaries. You know?
And I was about to ask you now, after talking about that particular program and how you've been running it, if you compare the previous election and the one we are heading to, I know right now majority of them have been cleared, and you can already tell who is going to be on the ballot.
Yes.
In that population, how many, even in terms of percentage, are persons with disabilities, and is it a rise compared to the previous election? What trends are you reading?
I would say if we go percentage-wise, the percentage is still negligible. It's still below 10%. But the number, when we talk of the number compared to the previous election, the number is high. Those who came
out to vie,
the number is high. In fact, we have a database where we got the list of all persons with disabilities who contested for both MCA, MP, and the Senate. And they are over 60, you know? Unlike the other years, the previous years, where there would be 8, there would be 10, you know? Yeah, so out of that number, we can say almost 2/3 wamepata clearance. They had been cleared to go vie for the Ninio. They were certified, and they own certificates from their political parties. And if you leave that alone, there are those who have decided to go independent. Like my colleague Halima. And these candidates were at some point aggrieved. In the political parties they were in, they got some road deal, or they got some things that really didn't go well with them. So they decided, like, the way I can go, the best way to do it
is go independent.
Is going independent.
But the vision didn't die.
The vision didn't die.
The vision didn't die.
And the only mission and vision there is to be elected.
All right.
You know.
Halima, just coming to you, just picking up from where he has left, because I was curious to know why independent. And Kajiado County is another competitive a space, if you ask me.
Yes.
And I know there are people who've come out also to express their interest, some vying with what some would call big political parties.
Yes.
You know, what prompted you to go independent, and what is your game plan? Because we are also having this conversation in our country where there's been a lot of talk about women inclusion in leadership. You're a woman, you're a person with disability coming from a minority community. There's just so much that I would say is working against you. What are you doing to stay on track and to make sure that the vision that you have in you does not dim or does not die or fade away?
Thank you so much. First, I decided my vision should not die after the consensus, and my followers, my supporters in the county decided for me. In fact, I was like, okay, fine, let me just relax and wait for the nomination or anything else. Let it be. Then I was really pushed with my supporters. Mama, nenda independent. Go for independent, because you have us in heart. You have a vision for us and mission for us. And we are the voters, not the political parties or neither the person, the panel. Just go for the independent candidate. In fact, I took long because I decided the last minute to go and do my clearance with ORPP. It was ending on 3rd, and I did it on 2nd.
So you went at the very last
minute, because calls all over, pressure, people coming to my home. In fact, I got depression because of that. After doing my clearance, I got sick because pressure from my people. They told me, you've been working with the NGOs and you've been down at the grassroots doing a project for us. We know you are a performer, you can work for us. We know you and we want you to come and work for us. We don't look at the nature, we don't look at your tribe or your disability. We just want you to be on the ballot. So that's
How has it been like, though?
Sorry?
How has it been like for you? You know, just coming out and saying you want to go for this competitive elective seat.
Yes.
And having all those working against you, the challenges that you've cited you're going through. What has been your experience been like?
My experience
How did the people, receive it? And what is it that you're doing to change their minds in terms of even you coming from a minority community, you being a person with disability, maybe they've not had a person with disability holding that docket before. How are you changing those biases?
Our sitting women representative, Mheshimiwa Janet Teya, she was a person living with disability.
So she set the pace.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
So we had one, and for all that, I was like, I have to work for my people. Whatever my vision I had for them, after working for the community, I can easily address the issues at the grassroots. Despite of personal issues of PWDs, the issues of community, because I've been working for the community at the grassroots in the entire county, handling projects for them. So despite on me going for as a person with disability, I am one of the persons at the grassroots, so I know the challenges and the issues from the community. So that's why I decided to go, not as a person with disability first, as a leader.
Yeah,
I decided to go as a leader, not as a person with disability. Because when I first decided I'm going for this elective seat, there was a lot of social media challenges. People talking of anataka sympathy vote. And my response is this: I am not looking for sympathy vote, I'm looking for leadership, because I am a leader like any other person. I went to school like any other person, no any sympathy examination. at the exam room, no any sympathy in when I apply for a job. They say because she's a disabled, we give her sympathy chance. So I am seeking for leadership and kazi. Natafuta kazi, niwafanyie kazi watu wa Kajiado. Yes.
Just to relate to what she has said, because the reason I asked her that question, because we know there are certain biases and myths that people still associate disability with. There's a lot of stigma that persons with disabilities have suffered. Some still struggling to even be accepted in the education system, in employment, in other spaces that are critical in the society, leave alone even leadership. So here we have persons with disability who are passionate to go for these leadership positions in a society that is still struggling to fully accept and embrace that disability is normal, that a person with disability is just as equally a human being. How are you dealing with those issues, the societal and the cultural biases against persons with disability?
Really, the societal myths and misconceptions in regards to disability is really still there, and it's one of the issues or the challenges we face. You know, I would give you an example. It's so easy for one to admire a lady like you, who is physically sound, if that you would go for it, unlike to a lady who is either having albinism, a physical challenge, or deaf, or visually impaired, you know. So when one, for example, when one is convinced, you know, nowadays we are, the nation, or the world is being civilized, and you will find that there are few who do have interest in them, date them, and even go ahead and plan to marry them. But again, when they go home, when they take them home to the parents, you know, what would their parents say first? You know, some are asked, wani umeangalia tu kuote, ni huyu umepata?
So there's still those you know, myths and lack of knowledge.
Yes. So it still happens even in politics. And there is this myth that relates disability with bad luck or something. Like there are political parties that still believe there are leaders or we have sports programs. There is the sitting volleyball program. There is the amputee football, and there is the persons with albinism football program, and the short stature, the ones you know, So through these programs, when we do the games, that's when we also engage. For those who come to watch, you know, you convince them, and also through programs like this, you know,
to create awareness.
It's where even some leaders will even get sense that indeed these people are able to do 1, 2, 3. My colleague Halima just talked about the exams we do. You know, we study like any other person.
Yes, of course
we do the same exams. If it is NEC, if it is I mean CASNEB or something.
So it's not a favor.
It's not a favor.
It's not
actually
a favor
something that you rightfully deserve.
So
all right.
For me to seek the elective seat, I'm not seeking as a favor. I'm seeking like any other woman in the country.
All right. Allow me to just put a comma there. It's a very insightful conversation. We are coming back to continue with it. Allow us just take a very short break. Yes, this is News Check. We are talking about inclusion of persons with disabilities in politics as we head to the 2022 general election. This conversation continues after the break.